ब्रेक के बाद हम दोबारा मौजूद हैं और आप इस वक्त इस्लामिक टीवी प्रोग्राम लाइट ऑफ इस्लाम देख रहे हैं। उम्मीद कि आपको प्रोग्राम पसंद आ रहा होगा। आपका भी इनपुट चाहिए हमें, और बताइए कि आप क्या सवाल करना चाहते हैं हमारे मेहमान के साथ। ज़रूर कॉल कीजिए 1-855-886-6387। इस पे आप कॉल कर सकते हैं एक्सटेंशन 6, और हमारे मेहमान से आप डायरेक्टली सवाल कर सकते हैं। बात चल रही है हाउ वी कैन ब्रिंग आवर चिल्ड्रन इन द इस्लामिक एनवायरनमेंट। Brother, welcome back after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, without me asking anything, you want to say anything before we can ask anything?
I think it's just important that we understand how important it is how we develop our children. A lot of times we just kind of leave it to society to raise our kids sometimes. But it's important to understand from the home environment how important that is in the development of our children, and understand that we have a lot more capabilities and a lot more potential that we give ourselves credit for. And I think a lot of times, we're quick to put the responsibility on others, but we have a huge responsibility. Allah has given us all the tools, each parent, all the tools that we need for the particular child that we're under the responsibility and the care for.
Brother Imam, sometimes we blame our teenagers if they do anything bad things.
Mm-hmm.
We blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that blame you think is fair? If the parents don't brought up in the Islamic environment, first the parents has a duty to teach them what is right, what is wrong.
Right, absolutely. So this is why, when we started, we talked about the importance of the environment and the responsibility and the roles and responsibilities of the mother and the father. And we know that a lot of times, we make mistakes. We're human. No one is a perfect parent, but we understand that what our purpose is as a parent. So a lot of times, our children are a reflection of us. And not only a reflection of us, but a reflection of our environment, and not only of the environment, but the influences in those environments. So we have to be very, very cautious in how we raise our children as well. We have to monitor the influences. We know that cell phones are very, very popular. A lot of young people have cell phones, but a lot of times we're not as cautious as we need to be about all the influences, whether it's the cell phones, whether it's the computer, whether it's the TV, whether it's the influence of their friends. So as the parent, as the responsibility of the parent, to make sure that we are very, very cautious with our children in all of these environments, and also what we allow our children to put in their minds, into their hearts, into their spirit as well. So with that being said, to blame the child, first and foremost, the parents should look at themselves and look at how they're raising their children. And then at some point, then it is incumbent and on the child to accept responsibility right about at the age of puberty. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He guides us to, is that our biological makeup sends us signs to let us know when we are to accept responsibility. So at the age of puberty, this is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lets us know that it's okay to start to fast, and we're accounted for fasting, for Ramadan, and all the things that the adults are responsible for. At the age of puberty, now the child is responsible for. So before then, the parent has a lot more responsibility. But as the child gets older, especially once they reach the age of puberty, now the responsibility is more on the child than it is the parents.
Yes, brother. Before I ask you what is the right age to get married our children, I want to bring up some, we send our children to the school. When they go in middle school, their friends, their environment in the school is a European culture, American culture. They can have a boyfriend and girlfriend. As a Muslim boys and girls, they go and see their close friends, their close classmates. They have a girlfriend, they have a boyfriend, and they also share the stories of their relationship with the Muslim kids. How these Muslim kids react, how painful for them, because they are Muslims, they cannot have a boyfriend, they cannot have a girlfriend. How they're painful for them. So what is the solution on that one?
So the solution, a lot of times it can seem like it's very overwhelming, but it can be. But the reality is that if we stick to the simplicity of our religion, it lets us know exactly what the time frame is when we're talking about what conversations we should have with our children, what they should be exposed to, what they shouldn't be exposed. We just talked about how we have to be very, very cautious about the surroundings and the influences that our children have. Ideally, when it comes to education, we should take more responsibility in educating our own children so that they grow up in an environment where we have majority of the influence and the possibility. But we know that we live in, like you said, an environment that is not predominantly Islamic or Muslim. So we understand that there are the challenges, or we should understand the challenges when we send our children to the schools. And it's important for us to develop strategies, not only for the immediate family, but for the community as well, for us to develop strategies of how we can combat some of the influences that are not natural to the environment and our principles and our beliefs. But this is not just for Muslims. All people of faith are facing the same challenges that we face. So one of the ways that we can do that is we have to be able to be natural, to be able to teach our children what is natural. At the age of puberty, we understand that there are certain things in our biological makeup that sends us signs that we are now to be more mature about things. When it comes to puberty, we get facial hair. The woman is more developed. There's certain areas in our body that are expressed more. So all of those different things we have to become aware of as parents. And now we have to shift gears now and begin to have adult conversations to prepare them for what is happening. You brought up a good point about the boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know if we have enough time to go into that.
We have one caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes.
Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ji, caller.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, my name is Amin. I'm calling from Chicago.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, actually my question is that for the character building, what the Islamic scholars are doing right now in the masajid and other places, because there are some issues and problems in the young generation, especially in America. They have a lot of influence from the schools and colleges. But do the people are working for the character building for the young generation of America who are going into the school or something like that?
So, brother, what's your name, brother?
My name is Amin.
Amin, brother Amin. How many children do you have, brother Amin?
Yeah, I have 2 kids.
You have 2 kids.
Children, yeah.
Okay. So, how you're bringing your own kids? Can you share with us?
Yeah, actually, because I live in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, there is a very good environment. Especially, there is a lot of mosques and schools are good. We have a very big community here, and it can help a lot because my children are very close to Islam. But my question is that the area like Louisiana and other states where our community are in a very low gene profile or in low in gene population, and if how they can connect to Islam and how do they understand the Islamic teachings and their character building.
Oh, okay.
So if they don't get the right message.
You got his question, brother?
So how can we...
especially in the USA, where not too many Muslims living in the city and not too many masajid and Islamic environment, those parents, how they can do that. Brother, first of all, I will thank you for calling and appreciate it. My simple answer is, that's why we develop this kind of program, Islamic TV program.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah, of course, yeah.
And then if you bring, if the parent itself,
it's a good start. Yeah.
If the parent itself is a role model of their children, and the home should be is an Islamic environment, and child not only listen you but also see you, as child is like a sponge.
Yeah, I do. I do agree with you. Because the first school or the first mother is your home, and your parents are the ideal for every child,
Right. Let me ask.
The child go out of home, school, and some other places. There are all kind of.
Okay, brother. We do understand your question. Let me. My imam will answer the question. Thank you for calling, and you can watch on TV, and then we'll answer the question, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
So I respect wholeheartedly, and I'm very sensitive to Brother Amin's question, because it's a great challenge for us as parents to raise our children in a non-Muslim environment where there's so many influences that are really attacking our children. So I can speak from my experience growing up. My parents tried to put me in an environment where I had Muslim friends. So I grew up with, my best friend was Muslim, and that's important. Who our closest relationships are, that's really going to have the major influence on us. So if we can encourage our children to be with other Muslim children, and we understand that our children are not perfect, they're going to make mistakes, and we as parents have to understand that. But the more that we continue to put them in environments as much as possible that have Islamic influences, but we also allow them to understand the beauty of Al-Islam. It's okay to play sports. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to go to amusement parks. So we have to be very, very innovative and creative in how we are connecting with our children, how we're presenting Islam to them, how we allow them to have the freedom for them to think under the boundaries and the confines of the principles of Al-Islam. We have to do more to show the beauty of Al-Islam and not put so many roadblocks in between our children so that they can grow naturally.
So this kind of TV program, this kind of programs also help.
Absolutely.
If the Muslims are living in the small cities where they don't have a lot of Muslims, or they don't have close, mosques is not close to them, so at least this kind of program will help to bring the message from our Creator, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
And the beauty of it is that we live in a very technological advanced society, so you can get resources from the internet, and then also you can create environments. So a lot of times we don't need the bigger things, we can just start off small. So if you link with another parent who has children that are of the age of your children and create an environment, create smaller programs, create opportunities where you can maybe travel for the weekend and go to Islamic environments. So there's a lot of resources that we have at our disposal that we can utilize as well.
Inshallah, we can continue after the break. We have to go on break. You're watching Islamic TV program Light of Islam. I am your host Maqsood Siddiqui, Imam with us. Inshallah, after the break, we'll continue to talk about how we can brought up our kids. What is the right age to get married? Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.